One that we're talking about today. Education is something that we're passionate about on this show, and we're going to speak about it as we open this particular hour on this one. Imagine this statistic. Every morning, millions of South African learners walk into classrooms without a desk. And this forces them to balance their books on their laps or learn on the floor. Just thinking about that in itself, already there's an interruption to the learning process, right? With more than 10,000 schools affected and an estimated 2.3 million children impacted, this basic shortage raises serious questions about the reality of the right to education. With Human Rights Day approaching, MiDesk Global, which is a social enterprise which aims to transform education access, is urging us to see this for what it is, not just a furniture shortage, because sometimes we make it about that, right? But actually, this is a systematic barrier, and it's a barrier to things that are essential in education, things like dignity, things like opportunity, and also learning in itself. Could something as a desk play a pivotal role in improving learning outcomes and shaping better futures? To help us on this one, we've got Talita Boodhram, who is a Chief Impact Officer at MiDesk Global. Talita, welcome right here on Channel Africa.
Hi, Benjamin. Thank you for having me.
And unfortunate that we have to speak about furniture in schools in the year 2026, right? You would think this is an event that we would no longer have to think about in the new dispensation. What's going on here?
So, Benjamin, we are 30 years into democracy, and 2.3 million children in South Africa are still denied the basic conditions to learn. The right to education cannot be claimed while learners are sitting on cold, hard floors and writing on their laps. They are sitting hunched over, and they are expected to do their schoolwork and their homework under these conditions. The MiDesk is a solution to this. It is a wheeled school bag that converts into a desk and a chair with a solar light for children in these conditions. It has a 12-year lifespan, allowing a child to use it both at home and at school for their entire schooling career from grade 1 up until grade 12. It is a UNESCO-endorsed product aligned with 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals in accordance with the 2030 Agenda, and is specifically designed for a child under these conditions where they can open it up, do their homework, pack it up, put their books in it, take it to school where the wheels have been ruggedized, it's water resistant, it's manufactured out of partly recycled material with the entire unit being fully recyclable. They use it at school, pack it up, and then take it home again to do their homework.
Yeah.
Research has proven that by a child having a dedicated homework space, their academic performance increases by 48%.
So
Our
when,
independent,
sorry to
sorry,
interrupt
go
you
ahead.
there. So when you speak about a desk, are you speaking about the desks at schools, or are you even thinking about the desks at home?
So I'm speaking of both situations. The 2.3 million children is the desks at school that there's a lack of, but these children live in circumstances where they cannot afford to pay for basic learning tools themselves. So when they go home, there's no homework space for them to write on, let alone any
Okay.
surface for them to do their homework.
When I'm
Or
thinking
a
about, my apologies there, when I'm thinking about these young learners who don't even have access to something as simple as a desk at school and at home, the conditions that they're under are far worse than this. And I also thought about, hey, how easy is it to carry this desk? Is it heavy? Because I'm pretty sure that if you are speaking about a child who has very little access, they probably have to walk to school, and many of them quite long distances. Has that been factored in?
Yes, Palisa. So the part that a child carries, part of the MyDesk weighs just around 2.4 kilograms, but we have designed it so that it can be wheeled, so that the weight goes onto the wheels and they are not expected to carry that weight, so then they pull it to and from school.
Oh,
So the
that's
wheels have
cool.
even been ruggedized for rural terrains.
That's cool. How did this project come about? I mean, who designed this. I think I once saw it on social media. It was trending at some point, I think 2 years back or last year early, right? Where, this was being introduced and launched, I think in the Eastern Cape, but it was, I think, a pilot project. How was this device? I think it's a device. Let's call it a device, because I think it's a technology in itself, because if kids can carry it with their books and also use it for it to be a resource as a table, it's pretty much of a technology. Who came up with the idea?
So this learning tool is definitely technology. We actually launched in 2021 on World Literacy Day. So we've actually been in the market for over 4 years, and we've reached over 5,200 children in Southern Africa so far. The MiDesk actually began as my science project when I was 16 years old and in school. My dad and I were watching the news one day, and we saw a segment on children that didn't have desks at school, and they were sitting underneath a tree and writing on their laps and hunched over, and we got talking. And we said, if they don't have desks at school, how are they doing their homework at home? So we went into the kitchen and we made the first MiDesk out of cat litter boxes and toy spade handles that we put together. And I cut up an old bag flap and we put that over, and that was the first prototype. And we called it the MiDesk, and it won gold at the science fair. But then,
Nice.
thank you. But then, as all science projects, they end up in the garage or in the shed when you're done with it. My mom then saw the potential in it, and she saw the impact it could have on a child's life. So she modified it and added the wheelie aspect. She added the solar light that it comes with. She patented it, made it in alignment with the SDGs, and got it out there and got it to market. And in the meantime, I was off studying at UCT. When I finished my degrees, I came home and I joined her, and we worked together to reach the intended need. We have a goal that by 2030, we're going to reach 1 million children, which is a very audacious goal, but one that we're working very ferociously towards.
All right, we're going to take a break, Talita. I think this is quite interesting, and I need to really understand, the human rights, angle of it all, because someone might argue, having a desk is not particularly a human right, but how this actually brings access into the conversation. Yes, it might be something as simple as a desk, but we really need to understand in a broader sense how this increases access and, these children's ability to actually learn and be able to access their human rights to education. So stay on the line. We will come back after the break and continue speaking on this particular issue. Find out a little bit more about MiDesk Global, but also the lives of young Africans and how they can continue how we can continue also to help them to access their rights to education and their other human rights pertaining to that. It's 19 minutes past 9 Central Africa time.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
OK. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
As Africa renews, so does its voices. 60 years of Channel Africa.
We're speaking about this incredible innovation called MiDesk Global. Joining us as Chief Impact Officer at MiDesk Global, Talita Boodhram. There's been some great observations that you guys have made since beginning the MiDesk project. And it is said that, you've shown, your own data has shown that simply by having this access to a portable desk with a solar powered light, that this has improved learners' grades by up to 20%. Tell us a little bit more about your findings.
So, when you restore dignity, you unlock outcomes. We recently ran our independent monitoring and evaluation, and 100% of the schools reported an improved focus and classroom comfort. 90% reported improved attendance and maths performance, and 70% reported better handwriting. Section 29 guarantees that every child has the right to a basic education, but that right is incomplete without dignity, safety, and a proper learning environment. A child cannot learn effectively without the tools to do so. So a desk is not just furniture, it is the foundation of learning.
Yeah, and someone would say, how so? How does it actually disrupt the learning process in itself? Because you would think learning is just getting in information in your head and that's just it. But I think a desk is much more, especially when you think about primary education, even secondary education.
Definitely. So when a child does not have a desk, these children are sitting on the floor, writing on their laps, and it affects their focus, it affects their concentration, it affects their homework delivery, and their overall academic ability. It can also be very compromising of a child's dignity when they're expected to sit on cold, muddy floors for the entire day, especially a girl child. So what happens is these children end up not going to school because they're uncomfortable for the whole day. So they are missing out on their lessons. And then they go home and there's no access to electricity in most of these environments. So they're unable to do their homework at night because they can't see to write. And so this affects their learning in terms of their academic performance, their homework delivery, and their overall comfort in the classroom.
And what about the kids themselves? I don't know how much access you've had in interacting with some of these young ones, but do you know how they feel about the project, how it's improved not just their dignity, but perhaps their self-confidence as well, but also their confidence towards learning?
Definitely, Talisa. So we at MiDesk have attended 99% of the handovers when we've reached the 5,200 children across Southern Africa. So we go to these areas. I get to see a child's reaction, firstly, to when I open it up and show them how it transforms from your school bag into a desk. And it is the most amazing thing to see, their bewilderment when they're like, oh my gosh, what is this that we're getting? And it's a very exciting moment for them because often this is the first gift they are receiving in these communities. And I see it in the children where we may not be able to speak the same language, but after I open it up, the children are able to open it up immediately and they're playing with it and they're so excited to do their schoolwork. I've had parents come up to me and teachers come up to me saying that they are so excited to do their homework when they get home because they have a dedicated space to themselves and that they've never seen their kids so excited about homework. So it's a really incredible gift to be able to see the reaction of these children, to see how they're using it. I also have learned from people through the grapevine of how children are using it and how they've gone to different areas and they've seen the MiDesk and asked them what it was and they were so bewildered. So it's truly an incredible product. One of the doctors from Steve Biko Hospital actually reached out to us and said that she saw the MiDesk at a clinic where a child was waiting in line to get medical attention, but or for their parent to get medical attention. So she brought her MiDesk and moved through the line while doing her schoolwork and her homework. So she was so amazed at how versatile it is and how you can use it in different circumstances.
I love this, and, it just makes me think about the kind of person that you are and your level of generosity, which screams out with you and your family on this one. I know that generosity enlarges our lives and makes us a bit bigger and also presents new opportunities in our lives. What has this done for you, working on a project like this? I'm sure it's enlarged your life to a certain degree.
It has changed my life. Honestly, the opportunity to get to help children that need it most, to let them know that their education is worth investing in and they are worth investing in, so that it catalyzes a whole generation of children that are taking their school seriously. I mean, I often share the one statement that I think they relate to the most. And I say, all I did was my homework. And look at me now. I've gotten to travel the world. I've gotten to meet people in the corners of the world that I didn't know existed beforehand. And I get to interact with these children. I get to interact with the people that want to get the MiDesk there. So, and I get the privilege of working with my family, which is also an incredible opportunity, and getting to learn from them, especially my mom, who's been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. So I feel very blessed and very grateful to be in a space where my everyday is purposeful, and I work towards making the world a better place. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
That is incredible. Well, you guys have reached around 5,200 students across South Africa so far. Are there plans to expand? I'm sure there's so many other young children, who need an innovation like this. But also, are there also plans to expand outside of just the desk itself into other areas of education access?
Definitely. So we are very scalable. We have a goal to reach 1 million kids by 2030. So on our end, we've ramped up our capacity to do so. We are working very ferociously in terms of getting that funded for us to ensure that the kids get it for free. And in terms of expanding to other educational aspects, we are always, as we are on the ground, we are seeing what the needs are. We're always innovating on our sides and looking for opportunities to uplift the kids and ensure that they are comfortable with their learning, and their studying, and that they are carried through from grade 1 to matric, and we're hoping to expand to universities as well soon in terms of scholarship programs or bursaries, or in that sort of direction.
That is incredible. There's so much proof that education can really change a child's life. But when they don't have enough access to even some of the basic things that we all even don't think about, it's hard for them to actually get that access. And it is a large barrier to their human rights. Thank you so much. Where can we go and find out more about MiDesk Global, Talita?
You can go to www.mideskglobal.com. So that's mideskglobal.com. And we're also available on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and easily accessible. So please do that.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and continue this incredible work you're doing. I mean, I think the children really, really need it. And it's so important for even the future of the country as well.
Definitely. Thank you. And I will definitely ensure that we live in a world where no child has to write their dreams in the sand.
Fantastic. I love that ending. Thank you so much for joining us. What a remarkable triumph story, but also there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Talita Boodhram joins us, and Talita is a Chief Impact Officer at MiDesk Global. That conversation takes us to our sports update. What's your take on it? Remember, you